This is a slideshow talking about discovering exponentials from Jordan High School Secondary Math 1. So we've looked to see how we're going to use the equation y equals a times b to the x in real life situations. So if you remember, we talked about each part of this equation having meaning. This one was the total amount that you're going to have at the end. The A, remember, is the beginning, or the amount that you start with. The B is whether it doubles or triples or whatever it's going to do, sometimes quadruples. And X is how many times. X usually does mean time. And so if you remember, that's what we talked about in class. So let's look at an example. If there are 4 ants in your yard, and each day the number doubles, how many ants will you have on day 7? So you're going to look and see what kind of information they're looking for. They're looking for how many ants, how many ants you have on a certain day. So we don't know the total, so we'll leave that as y. A is the beginning amount, and it says there are 4. So I put a 4 in for A. And B is, does it double, does it triple? So B doubles. And how many times does it? It says day 7. So once we have that, all we need to do is solve. Using the order of operations, you do the exponent first. So 2 to the 7th is 128. And you still have 4 times it. And then when you multiply 4 times 128, you get 512. And 512 means there are 512 ants in your yard at the end of day 7. Now look at number 2 on your worksheet, and it's the same sort of problem, but they give us different information. If there are 4 ants in your yard and each day the number quadruples, how many days until there are 1,024 ants? So here we have a total of 1,024. We know we started with 4 ants, and each day they quadruple, but we don't know how many days, so that's where our x comes in. And then all we have to do here is solve. If we're solving for x, we're going to divide by 4, pick up those 4s will cancel each other out. Here you have 256 equals 4 to the x. And since this is our first time working with exponents, we don't quite know how to solve. So we're just going to do a quick trial and error. So if I know 4 to the first power is 4, I can think, well, 4 to the second power is 16. 4 to the third power is 64. 4 to the fourth power is 256, and I've done these on my calculators. Well, there's the 256 that I need, and so x is going to equal 4, and that means 4 days. Yay! On our next problem, you have $2 and your money doubles each month. How many months until you have at least $640? And again, this is going to be where we have to look for information. It says how many months, so I would assume we do not know the x, which is the time, which means we must know the rest. So 640 is the total we're looking for. $2 is what I start with, and it's going to double. Now it gave me the word at least. And if you remember in our notes, at least means you're going to have whatever it is to be greater than or equal to the total because you want more. And so as we go through and solve this, we get 320 and 2 to the x. So whatever x 2 to the x is, it has to be bigger or equal to 320. So if I go through and I start doing my trial and error, I don't know if I want to start with 2 to the first equals 2 and keep going. I think I'm going to jump up to like 2 to the 7th or something and see if I can get a bigger number. And 2 to the 7th is 128, which is still too small. 2 to the 8th is 256, which is a little too small. 2 to the 9th is 512, which is too big. But it's okay because I want the side that has 2 to the x to be bigger. So I'm going to choose this one, 2 to the 9th. And I'm going to say my x is going to be greater than or equal to 9 to make it larger than 320. Now use the steps that we've learned by labeling each piece and then performing the mathematical operation to finish the worksheet that you have. Thank you.